Amber Heard. Poop. Blame shifter. Amber Heard, or, as her detractors like to call her, Amber Turd, was accused of pinching a loaf, curling one off, doing a shit in the marital bed. Much has been made of this, and Depp has given his evidence about how he maintains, and the evidence I think it was of the housekeeper, that the dog eggs that were found were not indeed dog eggs, but actually human feces. And the allegation is that Amber Heard, as a response to an argument that took place the night before her 30th birthday, that she squatted on the bed and pooed in it. Many people have been horrified by such behaviour, and on the basis that she is the one that did this, I've explained elsewhere why she engaged in this behaviour. Now, of course, the issue of the poo in the bed is something that has repeatedly cropped up, and it always entertains me because one phrase that I often deliver is, well, shit the bed. And that appears to have happened. Certainly there was poo in it, and it would appear that it belonged to Heard. She, of course, denies that's the case. As I've explained elsewhere, but it bears repeating in case you've not accessed those relevant videos, the narcissist can never be at fault. We cannot be held to account. We cannot be culpable. The reason for this is that accountability, culpability, admission, a genuine admission, is a threat to our control, and control is central to the existence of the narcissist. We are hypervigilant to the need for control and threats to control. Unaware narcissists do this, unconsciously aware narcissists do this, knowing that's what we're seeking to do. We know that we are seeking to achieve control or nullify threats to it. And of course, as narcissists, we've been equipped with a specific armory to enable us to do that. This is through our range of manipulations, extensive as they might be: flattery, bribery, word salads, denial, physical violence, doling out lashings of sexy, spicy poontang, triangulating you with people, triangulating you with an object, triangulating with an event, false accusations, accusations out of nowhere, the revision of history, bringing up the past, future faking, and so on and so forth. All of these things assist us with the pursuit of the prime aims, and in particular that issue of control. Accordingly, when you threaten our control by saying, j'accuse, you're the one that's done it, you're in the wrong, you're a bad person, or even to say, you're a narcissist, that threatens the narcissist's sense of control. And quite simply, you're not allowed to do that. And our narcissism kicks in to ensure that the accusation, the allegation, cannot land, cannot stick to us, and thus to nullify the threat to control. The simplest way that it's done is through the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense, which is denial. I didn't do that. That never happened. You're making it up. Denial with a bit of blame shifting thrown in there. And blame shifting is a stock response of any narcissist with regard to rejecting any attempt to threaten control. You, of course, don't realise that that's what you're doing, unless, of course, you've been educated by my work. For the most part, you just think that you're putting the facts out there, that you're pointing out to this person that they've told a lie, and you're proving that they've told a lie, that you know that they failed to take out the trash, and so you're pointing that out to them. It doesn't matter whether the accusation or the allegation is minor in nature, namely, you nicked the last cookie from the cookie jar, or of a more serious nature, you've been squirreling away our funds, you've been banging a prostitute behind my back, you've been hitting our children and abusing them, whatever it might be. Whatever the nature of the question, accusation, even saying to a narcissist, where have you been, you're 10 minutes late, is attempting to make us accountable, and thus is a threat to control. And here, in the Depp Heard trial, the accusation that Amber Heard pinched off a loaf, dropped cable, issued a log in the marital bed is a threat to her control. And the Mail Online reports about this and explains that Heard addressed in her evidence during cross-examination the incident in February 2016, where Depp claims that she pooped in their bed at their Los Angeles penthouse after an argument the night before on her 30th birthday. It stacks up in my mind that she could well have done this, because the argument would have threatened her control, and therefore, as a response, because of her behaviour, Depp removed himself from the property. He may have done that as a victim of abuse, just getting out of the way to protect himself. Or, if it turns out that he's a narcissist, and my analysis of him is in the pipeline, he asserted control by withdrawal. But either way, Depp removed himself from the situation. And his removal meant that Heard had not succeeded in getting control over him. And therefore, her narcissism caused her to triangulate him with an object, namely taking a dump in the bed for the purposes of asserting control over him, and that in her mind she thought, that'll show him. So as she squatted there, or perhaps she went to the toilet and fished it out, who knows, who cares, but the poo was deposited in some shape or form in that bed, and that would be a response of a certain type of narcissist in order to assert control by triangulation, even though it's in her mind and he doesn't see it, because she'll be envisaging his reaction when he comes back, the horror, the disgust, the annoyance, and that would make her feel good. She'd get a little dollop of thought fuel from that, and unconsciously it would also provide her with the notion of control. So it stacks up that she could well have laid cable in that bed. Returning to the Mail Online article, it explains Depp's chauffeur, Starling Jenkins, great name, previously told the court that Heard told him it was a horrible practical joke gone wrong. Heard suggested that it was one of their Yorkshire Terriers, Boo, who did the poo, that did it, telling the court that the animal had eaten Johnny's weed as a puppy and had bowel control issues for life. Well, all of a sudden, Amber Heard has become a veterinary surgeon. Character trait acquisition. She blame shifts by saying that it's the dog's fault. She also blame shifts by saying it's Depp's fault, because somehow poor Boo has ate the weed, and therefore that has fucked up Boo's bowel control. Shitty story for Boo. It also, of course, does lack credibility. And this shows again the nature of Heard's narcissism, where she's always apt to over-egg the pudding. She could have said the dog did it because it had eaten some of Johnny's weed. Or rather, she could have said the dog climbed on the bed and pooed in the bed. Stop. Or the dog climbed on the bed and pooed in the bed because because it had eaten some weed recently and it's affected its bowels. Or the dog climbed on the bed and pooed in the bed because it ate some weed which happened to belong to Johnny, which has affected its bowels. But no, she goes further than that with the dog got in the bed, shat in the bed, and it did it because it's eaten Johnny's weed, as a puppy, and now has bowel control issues for life. It stretches the credibility, but her narcissism doesn't realise this because of the level at which it operates. Returning to the article, it states, Heard said that Boo and their other dog, Pistol, would sleep in their bed, so Boo wouldn't have to get up in the night and possibly go to the bathroom on the floor. Lazy fucker. She said that while packing to go away to the Coachella Music Festival, Heard left Boo in the bed, which appears to have been when the feces incident occurred. Heard's lawyer, Elaine Braderhoft, asked Heard, did you commit any kind of prank? Heard said, absolutely not. Assertion of control through denial. First of all, I don't think that's funny. I don't know what grown woman does. I was not in a pranking mood. My life was falling apart. Melodrama. I was at a crossroads in my life and I'd just been attacked, revision of history, on my 30th birthday by my violent husband, insult labelling, with whom I was in love. I don't think that's funny, period. That's disgusting. Heard added that it made no sense to do something like that. because whenever she and Deb argued, he would stay at his house in another part of Los Angeles, meaning he wouldn't even find the poop. Now, of course, I've explained to you why, as a narcissist, that doesn't stack up. That she could, and probably did, do it, because it would enable her to assert control by triangulation in her mind, in her unconscious, and to draw thought fuel from it, imagining, ha, stick this, Johnny. I'm shitting in the bed. And in effect, I'm shitting on you, you twat. The aggressive part of her narcissism and the base nature of it, through sense of entitlement, lack of boundary recognition, lack of emotional empathy, causes her to behave in that way. I see it as entirely feasible that she did shit in the bed, for the reasons that I've explained, which are entirely plausible. But she denies it, and of course engages in the classic blame shifting of the narcissist by saying that it wasn't her fault, and that it was actually the fault of the dog. And also, indirectly, Johnny Depp, because it was his weed that got eaten by the dog. Once again, the narcissist blame shifts. And my analysis, my unrivaled expertise, helps you understand why it is likely that she pooed in the bed, why she would do that, and also why she also denies this through blame shifting. Make sure you tell other people about this work so they get to understand it properly. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.